What it do with you all in this self-isolation time? I'm sure it can be quite the challenge right now for some of you who are like on mandatory self-isolation or quarantine. And there is a difference. Everybody's using, oh, we're on this quarantine. No, if you're sick, you're in quarantine. And that means, like, if you're quarantined, that means you are like contained. You ain't going no place because they're watching you. You can't go nowhere. Self quarantine is where, and you're sick. It's the reason why you're sick. Self quarantine, now you are sick, but you're at home, keeping yourself at home, and you're sick. You're keeping yourself away from other people. Self isolation is something different. Self isolation is where you're staying home. You're not sick, but you don't know if you have it. You don't want to get it. You just came from overseas and self isolation, so you're keeping yourself to yourself. Let's use the words properly, because when you say quarantine, that means you got it. You're sick. So, yeah. So stop saying that, or there's more cases to be numbered. Also, speaking of which, there's a lot of information going out there. And you know what? I'm not closed off to all the information, because guess what? Number one, they don't know anything about this COVID-19 coronavirus thing. Coronavirus, get real. They don't know nothing about this thing. So any news really is something to pay attention to. It's kind of a challenge when all you're hearing every day, all day, every day is coronavirus. Everybody knows about coronavirus. Everywhere you go in this world, everybody knows about corona. Everybody know. I feel sorry for the business of Corona beer. I never liked the drink, but I feel bad. Not to say that people. I mean, I think the word has gotten out now that it's not because of the drink that people are getting it, but I think that people probably might want to stay from that. I know if I drank it, I'd be like, you know what? This is too soon for me to be drinking this, or it's like, yeah, it's too triggering. Like, let me not drink a Corona right now for a good while. But yes, information's out there. It's good to have it. If you're a person that is, the more information you know, the more fearful you are, then you might want to stay away from those things and just kind of let people know, you know what, please don't forward me any more stuff on WhatsApp, or, kind of shut off, kind of stay away from social media, because everybody right now is talking about it. You can't even block anybody, or you're going to not block, but hide people's posts, because you're going to be hiding everybody. So, and you're already in self-isolation. So, I mean, it's just defeating the purpose here. But I am going to share a link down below. I just remembered I was supposed to share a link down below for something else, and I don't think I did that. Oops. But I'm going to share a link down below of numbers. I'm a numbers person. I love numbers. I love them. I love math. I just love math. I go crazy over numbers. And there's this website, World Counter something, like it's counting the coronavirus cases, new, old, active. It's counting how many new, how many people have recovered, how many people have died, new deaths. It counts everything. What I also find interesting is the number of people per million population that have it in each country. And if you pay attention, although we saw that China had the most deaths, I mean, Italy has just surpassed China, but for the vast majority of this time, China was in the lead for deaths. But if you looked at the amount of people per million population, you would have seen that Italy by far had way more than had way more issues than China. Remember, China is 1 billion, 1.1 or 2 billion people, and Italy, I'm not sure, but I know it's not close to any kind of billion. It's not close to any kind of billion. And I don't even know if they have 100 million people, to be honest with you. So you're comparing that to that. You can see that it'll be easier to get. Here in Toronto, I watched it go from 3 people, every million people, there's 3 people that have it, to now 17 and counting. Our numbers went from 158 last week to 800 now in Canada. The states are going to have a plethora of issues, let me tell you that, because they're not, spring break happened, everybody rushed down to Florida. The governor did not close the beaches, did not close public places, and I'm just waiting to hear what's going to happen. I'm just waiting to hear all these cases popping up all over the U.S. because y'all already have 11,000 cases. Mind you, your population is 100 times more than us. But even if you do those numbers, I mean, 800 to 11,000 cases. And you guys probably have way more than that now. And you guys have a number of deaths. We have, I think it's 11 now in total. But I'm not comparing. All I'm saying is that there is a website that you can go to instead of waiting to hear about, the news telling you, oh, this country didn't, has this and that. You can look at the numbers. The numbers will tell you how many serious cases there are, how many mild cases there are, how many people recovered. And it's important to look at how many people recovered versus how many people died from it, because it's a lot of people who recovered. A lot. And you know what? The other thing is that's good to really, there's people who are coming out like Idris Elba. There's another actor that's on this show called New Amsterdam, Daniel Fong, I think his last name is. I just came across him yesterday, and he's talking about his experience. There's another man that had an interview with a morning talk show, and talking about their experience with coronavirus. And I think it's important to hear these people out. I think it's important to hear those that went through it, the serious, the most severe case, also those that went through it in the most mild case, and some that are what they call it, asymptomatic, like Idris. He has no symptoms, however he has asthma and he's concerned about that. I admire him because he handled it well. He said that he kept the identity of the person that he believes he got it from. He's not 100% sure, of course, because you just never know who has it. But he said from when he heard that this actor contracted it, he was like, I was around that person a few, 10 days ago, I think it was at the time. And he put himself in self-isolation and he got a test. And the test came back positive that he has it. So the doctor told him to drink warm fluids because apparently it's a respiratory thing, and the mucus builds up and hardens. So for somebody who's asthmatic, you can understand how that can be. So the doctor said to drink lots of warm fluids. And I think that's good advice. I think it's very good to listen to the people, what helps them. Instead of hearing the news that this person and that person said, people who experience it are your greatest teachers, right? And especially if you hear from different people, you can hear a common story. Of course, there are always opportunists. There's always people that are going to say, oh, I got it, and fake having it and say, oh, this happened, that happened. That's why I say listen to different people and get a consensus of what the symptoms are, what people have been experiencing. I think that's important. There are a lot of theories out there, conspiracy theories. I'm not a person that ignores conspiracy theories. I dissect because I know there's an agenda in this world. I may not know the entirety of agendas. I'm not saying that coronavirus is an agenda. I'm just saying I know that there are people behind certain things in the world. Hell, we live in a Babylonian system, okay? Babylon there. We're in the system. You know, we should know that. We should know that. We shouldn't not know that we are in a Babylon system here. So that alone is an agenda, and there are so many others behind it. So I don't hide from conspiracy theories. I just right now focus on keeping myself from disease. I do have my masks. I do. And I'm bringing my family their masks too. I'll show you. I kept it in here, but these are masks. I have another one. You know what? Let me get it and show you. I just got this one, and I got another one. This. It's not the, whatever number mask that they were saying to wear, but for me, my mom was a nurse, and I know that at times she had to wear a mask. Now, there's a lot of people, I don't understand, but there's a lot of people that say, oh, if you don't have it, you shouldn't wear a mask. Only people who are sick wear a mask. I sat there, I talked to my mom about it, because I'm like, what? I had to answer them and say, look, masks were created to reduce the risk of contamination. That's why they created masks. Masks were created for sick people. They were created to keep yourself from getting contaminated. Whether it be you're working at an auto shop, or you're painting, or you're at the hospital, it's to prevent you from getting sick. Now, if you're sick, yeah, you can wear a mask. However, have you ever worn a mask before where it's hard to breathe sometimes? It's hard to, it just gets hot and whatever. Okay, can you imagine an asthmatic? So let's think about this, shall we? Coronavirus is something where it's a respiratory thing mainly, and it affects your lungs. Just like the flu, it affects your lungs. And therefore, if you're congested and it gets hardened, it's difficult to breathe. How much more difficult would it be if you have this on and you're already trying to breathe and it's getting warm and you can't really breathe, you can't really get it. Come on now. I had to argue with people, man. I was like, are you really saying we shouldn't be wearing masks? It's only for the sick? Nobody with coronavirus can wear masks. I'm sorry. That's to me, that's just common sense. It's already gets warm in here and difficult to breathe. I can't even imagine if you're tight in your chest and you already feel you don't want to feel claustrophobic or anything like that if you're already having troubles breathing. Come on, let's use common sense and stop dogging people for wearing masks. Now, if you're wearing a mask, you know what? Still be mindful, of course, wash your hands, sanitize, all that stuff. I just think these are basic common things. The washing of hands, like, why are we consistently telling people these things? I don't understand. I don't. And I don't understand about toilet paper. I don't understand. And it's not only in Toronto. I thought it was okay, Toronto area. It's every damn where. It's everywhere. It's even in England. It's in the States. People are going south of the border, across the border to Mexico, lining up to get toilet paper, guys. I saw a news report on that. You know what? That's ironic, eh? Them should have let them do and say, you're coming to our country for toilet paper, but you turn them back at the border and said, no, we close our borders. Go back at your yard and try and find toilet paper. Like, you're going to empty out our country of toilet paper? Hell to the no. Foolishness. Like, I don't understand this toilet paper thing. I thought it was going to die out, but no. Every day, every morning, toilet paper runs out by 10. Like, how? What are you guys doing with it? What are you doing with it? And then you have people buying out the wipes. Well, thank God there's places that have an abundance of wipes now, some Walmarts. Sorry if this is annoying. Some Walmarts have it now, and that's good. But toilet paper is still almost non-existent. Like, what the heck? It's crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it. Man. At any rate, this is a time. So, what do I say? What to do in this time? What to do? What to do? I think this is a time of resetting. Resetting in a lot of ways. I'm not going to get biblical. I'm just going to get practical, because I could get biblical. I'm a Christian, so there's some things that I pay attention to. But I'm going to get practical. If you are able to work from home, if you now have the sniffles, you don't have corona, you just have the sniffles, so they said stay home. You have that chance to stay home. This is an opportune time for you to reset. This is an opportune time for you to figure out, you know what? Do I still want to stay at this job? Do I want to start my business that I never had any time to? There's a lot of people that are at home now, have to stay home. Hang out with your family. Start learning things about your family. Pay attention to these times. I also even would say, yesterday the thought came to me, document these times. You may be on social media, you may be on Facebook, you may be on Instagram, and you're already posting things, but that's not documentation, because you're not posting every hour of the day. You're not talking about everything. You're not exposing all your business, because I sure don't expose all my business on social media. So I think it would be important to document what the streets look like, what the feeling was, so you never forget this time. What was going on? What was happening? What did you guys do in your house? Remember the feeling behind it. What did you learn about your children? What did you learn about your spouse? What did you learn about your sibling? What did you learn about your parent? What did you learn about your relative, that you live with? What did you learn? What happened that wouldn't have happened had this lockdown not happen? What happened? What went on? Did you go out? How did you feel being cooped up in the house? What happened? What went on? I think it would be interesting. I'm listening to the radio at every minute. Coronavirus. Anyways, pay attention to the times. If you live alone, opportune time to reset. Reset every damn thing. Go on YouTube, pick up a hobby, pick up something. You know what I've been doing? I haven't really exposed this part of me, but I can show you some things that I've done. On the side, I make jewelry. I made a lot of all these I made. I'm going to be sharing my line soon. But yeah, I made some jewelry bracelets, some unique pieces that I did. This is what I did, There's different things that you can do during this time that you probably wouldn't have been able to do had you not been on this self-isolation or lockdown or shutdown or quarantine, depending on what's happening with you physically and depending on where you are geographically, because some cities I know are on lockdown. And I know this is going on the World Wide Web. Anyways, it's a time right now, and I hope everybody is safe, and I hope everybody... I see my shirt in this video and I'm like, Wakanda forever. I wish Wakanda was real. I wish Wakanda was real. I wish I could just go there and just be immune, just get some vibranium and just have it here. So if I get sick with the corona, I just put on my beads. And I have a replica bead bracelet, but I just put on my beads and just heal one time. Heal me of this coronavirus. Oh my God. Anyways, y'all, stay blessed, stay safe, and just meditate. Don't worry. You can't do nothing. There's nothing you can do. Just do what you can and not worry about what you can't. All right? Be blessed.